Hey yo, chào mừng các Timekeeper đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của tôi. Hôm trước tôi đã hoàn thành xong Act 23 chương 7 câu chuyện chính. Bây giờ tôi sẽ trở lại hoàn thành câu chuyện của chương này. Hiện tại chỉ còn chưa đến 8 tiếng là cơn bão sẽ đến đảo ngược cả thế giới. Trên hòn đảo tri thức nơi nhóm của Timekeeper Vertin đang lưu trú, mọi thứ đều tan hoang dưới bom đạn của quân đội con người trên đất liền. Máu đã đổ, nước mắt đã rơi. Sophia, người bạn có thể coi là thân thiết từ tuổi nhỏ của 37, đã quay lưng lại với cô bé và đầu quân cho đội phản diện Manus Midicte. Chứng kiến sự hung bạo của con người đối với những Arcanist đồng hương trên đảo và được thủ lĩnh tối cao hội Manus Midicte là Arcana tẩy não, Sophia giờ sẽ hắc hóa và bước trên con đường chống lại nhân loại. Sau khi chiêu mộ thành công Sophia, Arcana bảo rằng cô ta sẽ ở lại hòn đảo để đón nhận cái chết của chính mình và ra lệnh cho các tín đồ Manus Midicte rời đi. Và chúng ta đã có một trận đấu hoành tráng giữa team của Vertin và boss phe phản diện, với cái kết là Arcana bị teleport đến một căn cứ của quân đội Zeno và bị núc bay màu. Cái chết của Arcana đã được chứng kiến bởi quân đội, nhưng liệu cô ta đã chết thật chưa? Tại sao cô ta lại biết mình sẽ chết? Kế hoạch thâm sâu của cô ta là gì? Tôi có giả thuyết không biết Arcana có phải là 77, mẹ của 37 còn sống sau khi đã bị đảo ngược bởi cơn bão mấy năm trước không? Điều này đã từng được báo trước trong ảo tưởng của Vertin. Hay là khét cháy hơn nữa thì Arcana chính là 37 trưởng thành từ tương lai về chiêu mộ cô bạn Sophia chăng? Liệu hồi kết này chúng ta có trả lời những câu hỏi này không? Ngoài ra, quay qua góc nhìn hiện tại của Viện Nghiên cứu Laplace thì Enigma dựa vào logic khoa học con người của mình để tìm ra cách giảm thiểu tác dụng phụ khi sử dụng phép niệm kháng cơn bão là Uno Circlo. Đây là một phép thuật tối cao. Do đó anh đã gợi ý cho toàn team nghiên cứu về sử dụng trường phép để hỗ trợ cho những Arcanist cấp thấp sử dụng phép niệm này mà không sợ bị bay màu hay là biến dạng. Và từ đây hai tuyến truyện trên đảo và trụ sở Laplace đã liên kết với nhau. Sau khi đánh bại Arcana, nhóm Timekeeper đã kết nối thành công liên lạc tới trụ sở Laplace. Sau khi bàn luận các vấn đề hiện tại thì 37 đã đưa ra ý kiến sử dụng câu trả lời nhận được từ thực thể Aperon của hòn đảo áp dụng cho nghiên cứu hiện tại. Đó là lấy dãy số âm 3, âm 2, âm 1, 0123 gì đó các kiểu mà 37 đã nhận được sau khi cô hỏi Aperon cách để chống lại sự đảo ngược của cơn bão. Giờ thì chúng ta tiếp tục câu chuyện để biết được cái kết của thời đại này sẽ như thế nào khi cơn bão đến và đi thôi. Let's go. Yeah, the cycle of history, vòng tròn lịch sử. Nhưng chúng ta vẫn đang ở câu chuyện trên đảo. Đây là 37 này, đây là 210 này, Vertin. Chúng ta sẽ ở đây trên hòn đảo tiếp tục làm gì đây? Yeah, Ho Aperon này.
Heed my words, 37. That scroll is a sacred relic passed down from the wise sages of Aperon, safeguarded by the Sixes and entrusted only to believers who brave Aperon's test.
Mấy người này đang phản đối việc 37.
It has the power of harmonization and
tiết lộ bí mật
reconciliation.
của Aperon.
You may keep it until you fully grasped the secrets shared with you by Aperon.
Mà hiện tại đang rất là
But
cấp
you
rút
will
rồi,
not
cần
share it with some organization
brainstorm để
affiliated with humans, and
chống lại cơn bão.
certainly do not allow them to study it.
The inevitable disagreement is finally upon them. 888 grabs 37 by the arm and drags her out of the lab.
Why? Sharing the scroll is sharing wisdom and knowledge with others, like what we have done through our doctrinal meetings and receiving visitors from the outside world. It is for the sake of spreading the light of truth, is it not? The human researchers, they have also discovered many brilliant theorems. Before the emanation cut us off, we had these types of communications with the outside world. It was fun, unlike what came after. I'm sure by sharing this scroll, the code from Aperon will be deciphered. I must prove that the light of truth still glimmers.
Khoa học phải chia sẻ để nhân loại tiếp tục phát triển. She stand her ground. She's right. With their faith shattered, people need something to new to keep them going. And this time, her suggestions make sense in a practical way, a quality often missing from her previous ideas. With the island no longer shielding them, the school must find another way to survive the emanation. In their moment of weakness, they need a powerful ally more than ever.
But how can you be sure the scroll will only be used for researching the ritual? How can you ensure that the humans won't
Mỗi dãy số
exploit
mà.
it to create weapons
Hay
of
cái gì nữa?
destruction?
Một dãy số rất là khó hiểu. The custodian looks up at the fractured dome. The speckled daylight illuminates her cool complexion.
Before joining School of Apiron, my people and I had wandered the world for ages.
Cô này là thực thể
Our long
kiểu
lives
gọi
made
là
it difficult for us
giống
to
loài
truly
tên là
fit in
Banshee.
with the world.
kiểu quỷ gì đó.
Daughter of truth,
Kiểu
I implore you to hear the
giống loài
words
tiền
of
sử
this
giống tên
old
cá
soul.
như là
Humans have indeed
có
achieved
tên cá là
incredible
gì?
feats,
Với cả
and their
người chim.
enlightenment has even touched my soul. But unfortunately, most humans do not have an inherent respect for knowledge or its boundaries. They only chase after power blindly. I have experienced it firsthand. I tried to guide and persuade them, but ultimately I failed. Now, what you are deciding to share is not only knowledge, but it is a ritual, a piece of power,
Như thế cũng là
A
một cái
ritual.
nghi lễ,
designed for
nghi
harmonization,
lễ
created for the devout believers, and created for the
khi
sages
là
seeking
liên
the
quan nghi lễ
truth. Yet,
kháng lại cơn bão
on
thật.
the other hand, it can also be
Để hoàn
used for
thiện nghi lễ không tránh bị
unspeakable
mấy cái
horrors, such as
phản ứng phụ.
silencers on guns, suppressors on rifles, or even on nuclear bombs.
It won't. 888. I won't let this happen. I promise.
You can't promise
không.
anything, Miss Furton. You're too young,
Tóm lại là sắp bão rồi, nói chung là nên
too
brainstorm nhanh để còn
inexperienced to comprehend the dark nature of history.
chống lại chứ. A valid and powerful observation. The holy cells, ravished by war, now stands as a testament to the Banshee's claim. Even 37 is speechless.
But it's the truth we're talking about. What could possibly outweigh the truth?
An unexpected voice speaks up. To everyone's surprise, the rhetorician did not raise any objections this time.
If all it takes is lending someone a scroll to unlock unspeakable secrets, why not do it? Haven't the failures of the past 4 years proven that a stagnant mindset does not bring forth the light of truth? As individuals devoted to critical thinking, should the pursuit of truth not be our primary goal in life? My brothers and sisters, do not let hatred stop you, and don't let the dust of the phenomenal world blind you.
Những người truy tìm sự thật. Sự thật chỉ có một, sự thật vượt trên tất cả. He waves his hand and gets up from his seat.
And remember, it was 37 who passed the test and earned the scroll. It is her rightful responsibility to handle this situation.
He looks elsewhere, his demeanor suggesting a lack of interest rather than genuine support for the argument.
Otherwise, what other choice do we have?
He shrugs and walks out of the hall. Behind him, the Star of Hermes clenches her fist with resolve. To the murmuring, doubting crowd, she speaks again, loud and clear.
I have made up my mind. I will share the scroll with Laplace. We will decipher the code together.
Okay.
The truth is the truth. It should not be swayed by anything else. Please, everyone, cast your pebble if you agree with me. If Six were here, he too would have called for a vote.
Sáu đang bị thương rất là nặng. Some of them decide to leave the hall instead, but most stay and use the pebbles in their hands to speak for them. Her victory arrives with a gentle sigh from the corner. War and smoke have long left this place. An area has been cleared for takeoff.
Miss Lilia, are you certain about this?
Absolutely. See the nice weather today? Much better than the day we landed.
Đấy.
No wind, no cloud, the clear sky, and that giant moon.
Vẫn có hiện tượng cơn bão đúng không? Sitting tight on her shoe 01B, she gives a quick pat to the scroll secured on her belt. Bay về. Ôi, Lilia bay về đây. This is the essence of Aperon's goodwill in their newfound alliance with Laplace.
Can't find a better day to deliver the package. It's just to the headquarters, not even going outside of Europe. 3 hours is more than enough.
Ok. Lilia bay
I'm
qua cơn bão
done
để
being stuck on this suffocating island.
đi luôn.
Nobody can stop me from taking this flight.
Liều đấy.
The headquarters are at least 768 nautical miles away, and you have no protection during the long flight. It's dangerous. And we
Really?
have only 7 hours until the storm.
Dangerous? Maybe. But this is an exhilarating flight in the storm, Saneto. What better chance than now to push Zeno into updating their flying manual?
Trong quá khứ thì Lilia đã từng làm cho Zeno đi vào mặt trận trong cái sự kiện anecdote của Lilia hồi trước. She takes a few long gulps from her canteen and warms up her broomstick, brimming with anticipation as if she were going to a carnival.
Besides, what's wrong with a bit of oil painting on me? Should be a nice badge of honor.
Mate, that's quite a distance. Just be sure not to go toppling into the Mediterranean Sea.
Red 38 is no way an apple the second.
Ok, lấy chổi. She soars higher and higher until Regulus shrinks to a tiny red dot on the beach. On the corner of her eye, she notices shadows slowly creeping toward her.
Uh-oh. Manus
Ủa
Alitius?
vậy?
We didn't kill them all off?
Vẫn
I
còn
don't have time for you little stingray rats.
mấy đứa ở đây. The Olitius trails close behind her.
Still got your speed, huh? I guess the death of your boss didn't phase you much.
Bắn mấy quả bom phát. The swollen blink comes into view, filled with a dark substance and throbbing like a beating heart. The creature's soft, tentacle-like turrets slowly rise and lock onto
Manus
Lilia.
aircraft? Worth a fight.
Đấu trên không luôn.
Bring it on! Your downfall will be an explosive orchestra over the waters.
Ok, Lilia đấu mình đi. Airspace Overlook. Ủa, US Airship. Không phải boss à? Ủa, con này cái con giống con cá voi đúng không?
Program activated.
Đúng rồi. Giống con cá voi bay giữa trời. Ủa,
The moment of
A
silence.
new
giống
hypothesis.
con này mà cũng phải dùng full team rồi.
The moment of
Loading.
silence. Benefit from reading.
The benefits of field mapping.
Benefit from reading.
Benefits from reading.
The light that illuminates all.
Trời.
Fire, attack.
Nghe vậy chơi.
Time for ears to listen.
A good point. A new hypothesis.
A new hype.
Till the torch is lit.
Taking another look? No other study could show you this.
Ủa. Ủa. Ủa.
Liam!
Đánh cái này.
A good point.
Time for tongues to speak of truth.
Charging.
Đây,
Loading.
Taking another look?
bút sau vậy.
The scale of your soul has
Scale
tilted.
of your
The balance
soul
needs
has
to be
tilted.
restored.
Balance have to be
Target confirmed.
Key confirm.
Aim and
11k,
shoot.
12k. Ok, chuẩn bị. Thôi bay. Thêm phát. Đây. Không cần cái kia. Đây. Bút cho
I admire your courage. I will remember your
An
sacrifice.
academic question.
I admire your courage. Keep up the pace. For you, Emperor.
nút.
Limited
Thế không?
scale,
Đi.
infinite lines. Behold,
Phải nữa. Lúc này chết.
Victory secure.
Victory
I should
secure.
excuse myself.
To safely cast the immunity ritual, two conditions must be met. Have the power to wield it. Đây là nghĩa kiểu high rank alchemist này. Alchemist kiểu cấp
Yes,
cao
Ms.
này.
Titer has derived the formula and my team has finished designing the prototype converter. Now, we just need the bigwigs upstairs to approve the experiment application. This is an unprecedented chance to rob the storm of its energy. I wouldn't miss this for anything.
Minimize the side effects. Thì giảm tác dụng phụ này. Giảm được
The
không?
scroll of Aperon has shown great potential in protecting casters from the ritual. It is expected to outperform the Coleman protection rituals. The sheer variety of side effects is concerning, but we already have a list of 122 curses and their effects. Once the scroll arrives, we will test and record its reactions to each of the effects. This should speed up our analysis considerably.
Mercy is enough. Nghĩa là còn con người nữa. Còn phe con người cũng phải.
How can we
khá
get
là cân
humans
bản.
to make use of this ritual?
Enigma đang quản lý vấn đề này. He stands up and paces around the clutter room.
Ideally, the incantation is made into a tool like the Manus Mask or Laplace's incantation soft disk. However, this would require a thorough analysis and mastery of the ritual. Manus Vindicte could create the mask because Arcana is just that excellent of a caster. But we don't have that kind of excellence all the time. That's why I came up with a clever alternative, to let everyone be a caster instead. The problem
Người sao
is,
cast được đúng không?
humans can't cast it all to begin with.
Sao con người lại nhận xét được? Logic is failing to produce the desired breakthroughs. Enigma sits back down at the table, holding his head in despair.
Is there nothing else we can do?
Quay trở lại hòn đảo.
So, this is the plan of the imaginary numbers.
Số ảo á.
You want to use the waves of Numa and the reconciliation of the scroll to allow everyone to recite the storm immunity ritual?
37 ponders with great interest, as if it were just another game. The collaboration with Laplace is going well. They have just shared all their information on the subject.
Yes. What do you think, 37?
An ugly plan it is. There is no grace or beauty in this approach. It is purely driven by practicality and uses clever tactics to make things fit. How typical of imaginary numbers.
Ủa, số ảo là ai vậy?
What? It sounds pretty cool to me. Taking advantage of the storm? It's about time we
Ảo cũng là
plundered it
một loại số
instead.
vô tị đúng không?
It really looks like we should throw this plan into the sea.
37 insists, subtly shifting her seat away from Regulus.
You're not trying to comprehend the ritual, Vertin, but scrambling to make use of it before the emanation arrives.
Isn't making use of it enough for our purposes?
No, the theory is incomplete. You will be hindered by impossible obstacles in no time. Mister, could you show me the incantation? I want to see it too.
Ok. Bắn phép đi. She glances at her device, hoping for an answer, but the other end of the call has been silenced for a while.
Laplace is looking for a safe method to deliver the incantation. Given the incidents before, some time is required for the application procedure. Once received, please do not read it out by any means. The side effects are extremely deadly.
Biết đâu bà vậy là kiểu high rank Arcanist thì sao? The chief assistant explains to her reassuringly. Finally, someone speaks again.
Apologies. We took some time to test the delivery methods. For your safety, only the text of the incantation will be delivered. The exact pronunciation will be sent to the timekeeper later.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Since the island has no visual communication, we will send the incantation letter by letter through a Chladni plate, a technique that converts simple patterns to sound waves. Enough with the mumbo-jumbo. There's no time for details.
Annoyed, he interrupts his rambling and gets straight to the
Anyway,
point.
timekeeper, we'll need the help of that lady. Miss Radio, right?
Radio. My heart is stereo. Fluttered, the blue flower on Miss Radio pulls up. No ordinary signal could reach his island. Since their arrival, she's been diligently managing their communications. As a result, she was somewhat reduced to being just a radio.
Yes. Somebody please find her a metal square plate, fix it on a sturdy base, and pour sand on it.
Tăng cường độ phát sóng à? Strato and Regulus get to work immediately. Fortunately, there's no shortage of metals and sand on the island. A makeshift receiving station is quickly built.
Now, a special recording will be sent to you. Please stay by the edge of the plate, embrace the sound, and
groove
along.
I assume you mean vibrate?
No, that's just rude. But, yes, exactly.
He stammers.
If all goes well, the vibrations will move the sand and visualize the text in a pattern. We have 12 recordings ready, each representing a letter in the incantation. We'll play the first one when you're ready.
Oh, of course, my pleasure.
She trembles with excitement, ready to give her all for this important task. As she groups with the signal, a pattern begins to form on the plate.
First one's done, Mr. Ulrich.
Cái gì vậy?
All right, 11 to go.
Đường phố ngã 5 ngã 6 à? The transmission continues as planned, each letter falling into the place like pieces of a puzzle. Until finally, the last letter is recorded on a page. Là uno Ủa, cái gì?
This incantation.
Sao? Có vấn đề gì? The sign is hard to believe. How can this be? Trong giấc mơ của Bertin chắc.
What? Are you reading it in your head? Oh, don't tell me even thinking about it can trigger the curse.
No. It's just...
Ủa? Bertin nhìn thấy trong giấc mơ
I
à?
can read this language.
Kinh. La una seclo. The language is not unfamiliar. The incantation for unlocking the suitcase is inscribed in the same tongue. Oh, where? The questions are who taught this and when. Đưa tin lại cái gì vậy? Harry Potter à? Học được xà ngữ à? Bị Voldemort Arcana bắn phát giết cha mẹ xong rồi ám lên người thành trường sinh linh giá à? Was it on the eve of the new millennium when everything was a blank? Was it? Mother, ui, Harry Potter thật, phải chưa? A myriad of thoughts flood the mind.
37. I think I know what it says. It means the first circle.
Okay. The first circle. Chúng ta đã được biết đây là một Reverse 1999, thực ra là một phiên bản của Harry Potter. Arcana thực chất là Voldemort, kẻ mà ai cũng biết là ai. Và mẹ của Vertin hy sinh để trao cho Vertin khả năng kháng cơn bão. The First Circle. Quay trở lại Laplace. Office of Director, Laplace. The researchers on the receiving end quickly grasp the message.
The first circle. That's what the incantation says?
Ủa, tưởng biết cái này là The First Circle rồi mà vẫn chưa biết à? Ủa, cái này tôi tưởng ý nghĩa là biết rồi chứ nhỉ? He suddenly remembers a detail that has eluded him all along.
That's it. The investigator in Vienna reported a similar thing. An ancient miracle, a circle of salvation. Arcana even drew a circle in the air while saying it. She did it so nonchalantly, as if it were a meaningless gesture. We didn't think much of it at the time. Once we confirmed that it did not affect the casting of the incantation, we forgot about it and moved on.
Nghĩa phải vừa phải vẽ vòng tròn vừa phải.
I can't believe I overlooked it.
Cho the hot-tempered cryptography led slams the table and buries his face into his hands, clearly exasperated.
This is not your fault, Ulrich. The gesture was overlooked because it did not really help the research. Our focus was on practical application rather than understanding the incantation itself. If the incantation means the first circle,
the pragmatist's voice is still resisting.
How will this be helpful to the research?
Lại tra sách các kiểu thôi. Mà tôi tưởng biết rồi mà vẫn chưa biết à?
Now.
A moment of epiphany. She snatches a handful of papers, sprawls out on the floor, and scribbles frantically.
Well, Vertin, I don't know why you can read it, but I do know that Gal is thrilled by your interpretation. Because you mentioned her favorite shape, the circle.
The circle. The irrational number is spot on. 37 has drifted into the world of her own.
Yes. The essence of the incantation is a circle. But what kind of circle is it? In topology, any closed curve on a plane can be classified as a circle.
Aha! Told you!
Regulus spreads her hands, speechless. She takes a step back, giving 37 more room to calculate. Everyone is talking quietly so as not to disturb her. Even Miss Radio has lowered her volume. Just as her sheets are about to engulf on the entire floor, she finally stands up.
Look, Vertin, let's go back to the Rosetta Stone hypothesis. Based on the hypothesis, if the incantation and the numerical code share a common essence, which is the key to the storm immunity, and we now know the incantation refers to a circle,
then the essence of this numerical code should also be a circle.
Chả lẽ đây là bán kính của đường tròn? Các dãy số là cái gì?
Yes.
Dãy số là gì của đường tròn? Tạo
Before
độ à?
this conversation, I had no idea which direction to take. The numerical code could be a snippet of an incantation, or it could be a geometrical ritual array. I had a lot of theories to go on, but testing them could take weeks or even months. Worse yet, if my line of thinking was completely wrong, we could waste decades of time and effort. But the Rosetta Stone hypothesis is easy to verify. Let us suppose that the incantation and numerical code share a similar essence. We know that the incantation does work as proven by the awakened. If the incantation is a circle, then the numerical code should also be circular in nature and has the same effect as the incantation, which is a circle that saves people from the emanation and can also be experimented with by the awakened.
If the experiment works, then the hypothesis is true. And vice versa. I see what you mean here. It really is an easily provable hypothesis.
Giả thuyết đúng và ngược lại.
To my ears, you're just trying to prove that the code means a circle. Because you're really into circles.
Not specifically. I simply like it because it's a great shape. But I don't understand.
She picks up the numerical code and studies it carefully.
+1, -1, +2, -3, 3, -3, +2, -1, +1.
Cộng 2 trừ 3 3 trừ 3 cộng 2 là cái gì vậy?
How do these numbers relate to the circle?
Vẽ vòng tròn các kiểu. Có cách vẽ vòng tròn từ một các kiểu. Enigma narrows his brows, spinning a pen between his fingers. His drafts are scattered across his desk, each of them a dead end.
Yes, it was the timekeeper who translated the incantation. And according to the investigator in Vienna, Arcana also drew a circle when she casted the ritual. But experiments have shown that the gesture has no effect on the ritual. We thought maybe it was a symbolic gesture.
No. It is no way just symbolic.
He jumps to his feet. The cryptographer sneezes at the cloud of dust he just stirred up.
Arcanists excel at condensing their experiences into symbolic representations. Signs, totems, elements, these are primitive symbols, and some are sources of power for Arcanum. At least that's what the Foundation's textbooks tell me. That's why arcane skills can only be enhanced by mediums that align with their symbolic nature. Precise materials are required when creating soft discs for each incantation.
He stops spinning his pen.
If the incantation symbolizes the first circle, and if we were to create a physical form that could be mass-produced for everyone, will that form have to be a circle too?
Nghĩa phải tạo ra vòng tròn. Tạo ra cái đồ vật gì đó hình tròn. In the cave, discussions and theories about the circle are also in full swing. Every inch of the floor is now covered with paper. On each sheet is a differently drawn circle. Some are spheres, some have crossings, some are in distorted form. Just as the sea of papers is about to drown everyone in the room, she finally stands up.
Oh, I should have thought of this. The simplest things often hold the deepest meaning, as always. So, the first circle, what could it be? A wheel? A piece of rope? A pendulum?
Cái đồng hồ. Hiệu timekeeper. 37 shakes her head and kicks away some paper balls at her feet.
I spent too long on the wheel and the bearing, not realizing there was something more promising. A circle can also be seen as a knot with no crossings. An unknot. This could be a variation of a closed curve. A knot. Knots were how the ancients of the Incas and Chinese collected data and kept records. But which knot is it exactly?
37 extends her hand. Intricate geometric shapes take form in the radiance of her arcane light.
The Jones polynomial of the trefoil knot is t plus t cubed minus t to the power of 4.
Cái.
The figure 8 knot is t to the power of -2 minus t to the power of -1 plus 1 minus t plus t squared. While the cinquefoil knot, t squared plus t to the power of 4 minus t to the power of 5 plus t to the power of 6 minus t to the power of 7. I could go on all day. There are 165 different knots with 10 crossings. But which knot is the code referring to? +1, -1, Positive 2, negative 3.
T mũ 1
Positive 3, negative 3.
trừ T.
Positive 2,
Cái gì?
negative 1.
Thế gì cả.
Positive 1.
Cộng trừ các kiểu. She stops.
Of course I would hear these digits instead of anything else. The scroll transcribes the truth into a format I can understand. So it must be based on a mathematical system I already know. I have all the knowledge needed to break the code. Just need to follow my instincts and pick a system. And the Jones polynomial is the first thing I could think of.
Nghĩa dùng cái này để vẽ làm động tác. He casts phép à? Struck by an idea, she drops to her knees and starts calculating again on the floor.
Right. The second 3 I heard sounded different from the other 3s. That 3 must be the constant term of the polynomial. Then if we use this 3 as the origin, like a number axis, the left side is the coefficient for the negative exponents, and the right side is the coefficients for the positive exponents.
Góc và
Eureka!
bên âm,
This
bên
string
dương.
of coefficients is the shorthand of a Jones polynomial. If we assign the 8 coefficients to the 8 corresponding exponents in a Jones polynomial, we get its true form.
T trừ 4
T
trừ
to
T
the power
trừ
of
3
negative
cộng
4
2T trừ 2
minus T to the power of
trừ
negative
3T
3
trừ 1. Cái này bố ai
plus
biết
2
à?
T to the power of negative 2 minus 3
Đều
times
một
T
cái
to the
nếp
power
bút
of negative
mà
1
có 8
plus
điểm khác
3
nhau.
minus 3T plus 2T squared minus T cubed plus T to the power of 4. A knot with 8 crossings.
She looks up, her bright aquamarine eyes shine with delight. A golden knot projects from her fingertips. Đây á. Gì vậy?
See, Vertin, Apiron did give us the answer. The key we've been looking for, the most profound secret, the language of the divine. No sound or text is needed, just pure structure, the very form of the essence itself.
8, đúng 8 nút thắt này. Xịn.
It is a beautiful shape, a simple knot.
Vãi cả simple knot.
A knot. Great. Now there is only one step left. The verification.
She nods and looks at the communicator.
Did you hear that, Madame Lucy? Can you help us verify the authenticity of this knot?
After an unsettling silence, Miss Radio finally remembers that she had turned down the volume. When she turns it back on, Lucy's voice comes through clearly over the channel.
Of course. I have paid close attention to the discussion. This polynomial produces a single unique knot. We can now tie a knot to test it.
The call goes silent again. The cave is silent too, as if any noise would alter the outcome. Even Regulus has turned off her personal speakers. In a quiet hush, Miss Radio cranks up her volume once more, but all they hear is a sharp hiss of static and a soft, strange rustling. 20 minutes has passed.
Madame Lucy?
The only sound is the constant static, accompanied by the faint, scratchy reverberation.
Signal dropping. Madame Lucy, can you hear us?
Còn sống không? Bay màu không? Ủa? Cầm cái này để...
I can.
Cầm cái này để không bay màu à? The robot utters with effort. Không bay màu. Thành công rồi. The knot slips from her grip and falls. It has completed its great mission. Then the robot starts to fall apart and vẫn bị bay màu. Before the curse could get into her core, the fire, she needs to ensure the next message is clear on the radio.
It worked.
Oh, worked. Vậy thành công. Thành công rồi, yay! The ritual core is obviously complete. Lucy knot. Gì đây? Absolutely universal. 1914 knot. Wrong time. The knot. The knot. Đây. Chỉ là the knot thôi. một cái nút thắt để quyết được tất cả mọi vấn đề. Mirror and curtains. Gương và rèm lại quay lại trở lại với Cacania. Có quay trở lại Cacania. 4 tiếng nữa cơn bão sẽ đến.
I never thought it would be the timekeeper and the Apeiron Arcanus who'd solve the problem. But now even humans can cast this ritual.
Vậy à? Nghĩa chỉ cần cầm cái nốt đấy là có thể cast được à? Laplace is now in a rare state of tranquility. For the researchers have done all they can. There's nothing left for them to do. With only 4 hours to go, this is the final calm before the storm.
Indeed. The knot is the physical form of the ritual we were looking for. Surprisingly, the numerical code yielded practical results. I thought it was necessary to report this to the Timekeeper's organization. It was her contribution, but it did not go well.
Chuyện gì xảy ra?
Forgive the interruption. What's a knot?
I will be glad to answer your question. Knot theory is a branch of algebraic topology. In mathematics, a knot refers to a connected closed curve in three-dimensional Euclidean space that does not intersect itself. They can also be described as shapes in three-dimensional space that are homeomorphic to circles. Knot theory focuses on the entanglement and configurations of closed curves in three-dimensional space, rather than the curves themselves. Since all closed curves are homeomorphic to circles, they can all be topologically categorized as circles. A knot equivalent to a two-dimensional circle is called an unknot, and...
I don't mean to question Laplace's expertise, but this approach may not be the best solution for widespread implementation. The concepts are complex even for us, let alone others. We can't expect to give an advanced math lesson to every individual under these circumstances. Doing math before the storm. Nobody's got time for that.
Đúng rồi, tự nhiên lại học toán học trước cơn bão này. Rồi sao?
As it turned out, presenting a technical report was much too premature. We should have a complete and official report once the immunity gear is produced.
Maybe you can change your approach the next time you report to the Foundation.
Chất liệu để làm cái vật liệu này, làm cái nốt này là gì? The robot shakes her head, disappointed by the failure of her report, and the listeners must lever.
I simply gave them honest answers.
Học toán đi. She turns her head and looks thoughtfully out the window.
But this solution is deserving of widespread implementation.
Nhưng mà lần này Lucy có mặt à?
All we need is a piece of rope and tie it end to end.
Chỉ đơn giản là cần một cái dây.
And spend 3 to 5 minutes to make this knot. This can be done anywhere, at any time, by anyone using any type of cordage. The oldest, fastest, and most basic ritual, the key to braving the storm, is a knot.
Okay.
Why didn't you tell the House of Integratus? I'm sure they would have funded us generously.
I will make sure to put it in my interdepartmental report.
A rare hint of frustration flickers across her face, but she quickly moves on to the new subject that deserves her attention.
But at this point in time, the knot only functions like an incantation. It is not suitable for widespread use until the research on the side effects and the converter are complete.
In any case, I've completed all the tasks you assigned me. My last plea is, please never put Ulrich and I on the same team again.
The researcher lets a deep yawn, feeling as if he hasn't slept in ages. Maybe he can catch a quick nap before the final battle begins.
I'm surprised that you're not in the lab. Something bothering you? Wait, don't tell me you're charging here.
The robot turns to him, an approving smile on her face.
Excellent job, Researcher Adler. You have proven that you are keeping the locations of public outlets in Laplace in mind, which is a positive sign for your resocialization. But I am powering up to reach my optimal condition, preparing for what is to come. The scroll of Apeiron, the final piece of the puzzle, the key to minimizing any negative effects caused by the incantation.
Chuẩn bị chiến đấu gì đây? Chiến đấu gì ở trụ sở à? Thì sao mà phải charge đây? Sợ đấy. Lilia vẫn đang quay đến.
The designers on artificial somnambulism could use some of this inspiration. Look at the clouds, painted with a syndrome of colors and interrupted by a glorious streak of rainbow. It's truly a masterpiece.
The red blur streaks forward at lightning speed, but the oleages are still in hot pursuit. The skins are becoming increasingly vibrant due to the storm syndrome.
Funny. They're flying towards the headquarters out of instinct. Maybe they can sense immunity zones. These little beasts would make for a good study. But I'm not in the mood to take any prisoners.
Lilia speed up again, trying to lose her pursuers that are swarming behind her like a dark vortex. In front of her, under the cloud, the grey buildings of Foundation are now clearly visible.
Fuel and ammunition are running out.
Her altitude is low enough. She can almost see the whole way outside the committee room.
Huh. Maybe I should storm the vice president's office with them. But other people might get hurt there. Never mind.
She makes an abrupt turn, her mind racing with ideas.
Dive into the lake? But the splash might wet the scroll. Wait, isn't that...
Sao lại đâm thẳng vào đâu đây? Sprouts from the forest. That looks like a signal to land.
Miss Lilia, this way.
Lâu lắm không gặp Druvis này.
Ha! Good timing.
Her friend's presence has given her a clear sense of direction. Without a second thought, she charges into the new forest with a huge herd in hot pursuit. Just before crashing into the trees, Red 38 changes course and rockets upward in a perfectly straight line. But the creatures behind her have no such finish. One by one, they slam into the mesh woven by the dense tangle of trees and vines. Bị có đội ở đây đâu
Enemies
ấy.
intercepted. Ally landed successfully. Miss Travis, the Elitiaus are all ensnared in vines.
The druid closed her eyes, savoring the fresh air.
The winds of triumph sweep through the woods. An excellent flight, Miss Lilia. We will take it from here. Come, everyone. We shall vanquish our foes with the
Từ
aid
chương
of the
5 đầu chương 5
woods.
đã không gặp Druvis rồi. Druvis đang bận hồi sức sau khi tung hết sức mạnh tại chương 4 rồi. Làm cả một khu của Foundation biến thành khu rừng.
Keep the sample.
Sau khi đấu với Arcana boss xong thì bây giờ chúng ta chỉ chiến đấu nhẹ nhàng thôi.
A new hypothesis.
Charging.
Loading. Taking another look.
Faraday's miracle. Aim and shoot. So, damage.
Don't worry.
A good point.
Đây đi.
I will remember your sacrifice.
No other study could show you this.
Keep up the pace.
Cái gì? Cái gì bây giờ? Cái này đi. Ok. Cast cái này phát.
We share the same dream.
A new hypothesis. A good point.
To a brighter future for everyone.
Liệu có hết được không?
Taking another look.
Không.
The benefits of field mapping.
Không. Còn một con. Kệ. Đấm
An
chết đi.
academic question.
I admire your courage. I will remember your sacrifice.
Tính sao?
Limited scale, infinite lines.
Limited scale, infinite line.
Behold.
Boom. Boom.
Sharp fang. For the good of all.
Lắm. Lắm vậy. Thôi.
Charging.
Hai.
Loading.
Ba.
A good point.
Barrage.
Ok, một hit. Đỡ phải tính nhỉ?
We worked on this collaboration together.
Ok.
The Special Operations Squad is ready
Trở
to
về
go.
Marcus này.
Dr. Kakanya, are you really going to stay here?
Theo chuyến Kakania làm gì đây? Sao tự nhiên quay lại Kakania rồi? She shakes her head, her fingers tight on Marcus' communicator. For more than 10 hours, she has been waiting for Laplace to respond. Để Kakania đang ở lại vì gia đình à? Marcus lowers her eyes, burying her face in the scarf to hide the tears. The doctor quickly notices it. Her voice softens and changes to a lighter tone.
Don't worry about me, young missy. This won't be goodbye forever. Besides, I have already provided all the help I can, right? I made Isolde show us the ritual and kept her under control, and now you've figured out how the ritual works. To test its results, you will need a couple of volunteers.
Tự nguyện luôn. But Marcus doesn't seem to find comfort in her words.
But you heard the report from Laplace. The possibility of surviving the ritual is nearly zero without the converter and the scroll and...
Nearly, they said. But not surely.
The doctor interjects briskly.
Plus, where else can I go? I was born and raised in this city. This is where I came from, where I lived and where I belong. This is my whole world.
Marcus còn bị bay màu
I
cả thời đại cơ mà.
despised the maggots under its golden surface and fought for the justice and fairness in our society. But I also cherish every detail of this city, from the intricate carvings on the theater columns to the dirt trodden by dock workers. All of these things made me me. My family, my friends, my people, and my operas and culture are all here. I never once thought about leaving this place. I have never thought about destroying it either.
She looks up and sighs sentimentally.
Being washed away with it would be a just punishment for all my sins.
Yet, her eyes are free of darkness and despair. Marcus can clearly see her determination.
I wish I could be as brave as you are. See you, Miss Clara.
See you, Miss Marcus. She gently reaches out to her. Not far away, the Special Operations Squad is ready to go. The helicopter begins to whir, its last errand of the day. Inside the cabin, Isolde sits between two radar operatives, her wrists bound in cuffs.
Hurry, ladies, before any of us turns into one of those exquisite paintings. Sorry, but the headquarters is too far for the teleportation disc from here. You'll have to bear with us smelly old grunts for a little longer.
Đội Razor này có phải đội Razor cùng với cả Semmelweis không? It's time to part ways.
Goodbye, Miss Marcus. Sharing this hour with you has been an honor.
Their warm hands clasp in a powerful handshake. With a wave to the teary-eyed girl, Hakania turns around and heads toward the city of
Is your
madness.
birthday approaching, Doctor?
She twirls sharply around the entrance voice. Isolde reaches out into the air, Still in the dream she's unwilling to wake up from. There, the world is unchanged, and each day is filled with bliss. For the prisoner in the Foundation's facility, perhaps dreams will provide more solace in this.
I made this for you.
She holds out a brooch, a piece of exquisite that it, too, seems to be an intangible figment of a wistful dream. The golden setting nestles the sparkling gem in place, a gift undoubtedly made with great affection.
Turquoise and topaz.
Turquoise
Just
and
like
topaz.
you and your eyes.
Topaz? Ủa topaz sao lại... Tôi tưởng topaz là màu đỏ hay màu vàng nhỉ?
Please accept my blessings,
Topaz lại
Doctor.
màu xanh.
May your life be filled with joy and contentment.
Topaz.
And may your courage guide you through all that comes your way. You are worthy of all the beauty and goodness this world has to offer. And I will hold you in my heart and in my prayers. For
today isn't Kakania's birthday, nor can she see her reflection in Isolde's lustreless eye. The star of Vienna holds up the brooch, yearning for the emptiness before her. If one were to die today, what would she say to her long-time friend?
Süße Träume, Frau Dittersdorf.
Sweet dream, Miss Dittersdorf. She takes the brooch and pins it to her jacket. The communicator at her waist crackles. A ray of hope shines through the static. Sao?
Madam Lucy, any progress on the research?
Ồ. Thì liên lạc với Kakania để tự nguyện làm tình nguyện viên cho cái thử nghiệm này luôn. About the forest you're familiar with, about the companion you know so well. Wayhauser, Durvis này. Following the event topic, so high degree king. It accepting her punishment bị làm sao đây? Within 3 days. Bị phạt gì đây? Excellent performance, good attitude, admitting her mistake. Ok. Cái nick khỏe thế mà không sử dụng gì phí. Half of this newspaper page is soaked in the murky oil. Last big new flash. To the end of word. Ok. Ai đây? Journalist nào đây? Austrian. I was wrong. Great quote founding. Ok, chả hiểu gì cả. Hymnus and Bacchum. Cái gì đây? Phép thuật gì đây? Như kiểu một phép bùa chú gì vậy? Hymnus ab Bacchum. Tiếng Hy Lạp à?
Six is awake?
Ồ, 6 đã. Tưởng 6 chết, hóa ra là vẫn sống. Thương nặng. The blind woman nods, smiling. 37 scrambles up from the floor, her eyes sparkling with joy.
Fabulous! Now everything is perfect, like the number 10. He will be happy to hear that I've cracked the code.
She skips across the room, the paper with a knot on it still in her hand.
I did it, Vertin! I have proven the light of truth still shines. With some time, communication, and a flash of inspiration, we can bring it down from the unattainable skies and let its radiance illuminate all. And I've also proven that the truth is not out of reach or too distant to grasp. So, once Sophia knows about this, she'll come back to us, right?
Chắc không? She opens her eyes wide, eager for the affirmation she yearns to hear.
I'm sure she'll be happy with what you've accomplished, 37.
Thấy não rồi. 37 nods with satisfaction and quickly dives back into her work, further perfecting the solution. The leaps in progress and the news of Six's return have filled the club with smiles and lively conversation. Yet, the most active members of the past are not here for the celebration.
Did 210 and 888 go to get 6?
Hai người đi đâu? Lại có chữ plot twist gì đây?
You don't seem that happy.
The leader stops, looking at the speaker coming down the steps.
The Star of Hermes deciphered the code of Apeiron. She found a way to cross the emanation. We should all feel happy for her.
The leader does not answer, having mastered the art of silence over the years. The rhetorician doesn't care. He can effortlessly engage in a dialogue and is at ease in any conversation, even with a rock.
Yet here you are, so indifferent. It is because you, too, know that what has happened will not change, regardless of whether she figures it out or not.
Sophia vẫn đi á.
A meager ritual to save people from the emanation is nothing compared to the disruption of the law above. It also cannot change the fact that our faith is dead. We're talking about how the island has sunk, and we're now sailing in a tsunami. A tiny miracle, a spark of inspiration, won't save the ship from the wrath of the tides.
His tone is sarcastic, but the mockery is missing in his eyes.
To be honest, I was surprised that she asked such a practical question. I guess the trivialities of the phenomenal world did eventually affect her. It's a shame that many others lack her determined will to see beyond the void of our broken reality.
What's your point?
Can't you see? I'm getting a rise out of you.
Hòn đảo chuẩn bị biến mất à? He beams a huge grin.
Who would have thought that our great, perfect, honorable leader of the school of Apeiron has been a nihilist all along?
Gọi cả nihilist.
You never revered the truth, did you? That's why you kept us in the dark for 4 years. You never respected our beliefs for a second in your life.
Con đường hư vô này. The man down the steps shakes his head.
The people who seek the truth are more important than the truth itself. I may not understand that ever-shifting number, but I do understand and respect the people here.
He's continuing the conversation, a rarity to behold. Ever since becoming 6, he's rarely had a chance to unleash his sarcastic wit.
So you know the secret. What now? Now that you know the truth could lead to a nihilistic void, I wonder if you would abandon our doctrines, our wisdom, and our inheritance, and step into the darkness in a fit of rage. When truth fails, sophistry prevails. Correct?
Ha! We cannot deny that fate, the unspeakable, holds wisdom beyond our understanding. Perhaps it does take a resolute skeptic, an impartial nihilist, to steady this ship and remain detached enough to look on from the sidelines.
Haiten looks up at the distance.
It's a pity. This was supposed to be the best time of year to make wine.
He leaves without looking back. Rời đi rồi. Down. The silent leader continues on the familiar path. Người hòn đảo đã mất đi niềm tin với sự thật. A short distance away, 37 slides gracefully down the sand and runs toward him.
6! You're here! 888 said they're holding a celebration before the arrival of the emanation, in honor of the living and the dead. Will you join us, 6?
37. Do you remember the story of Socrates?
The one you told me in the cave? The trial is over. Why mention it? You should answer my question first.
Her words trail off as her eyes suddenly widen in fear. She's completely fixated on what's in the distance. She knows the feast is underway, and she recalculates the safe zone for them to hold it. But now people are laying out food and wine on the ruined beach, among the rubble and wreckage, right next to the remains of the battlefield.
Wait, are they holding the ceremony outside the immunity zone?
Oh,
I told them to go to the meadow near the top of the mountain where they will be completely safe. I've checked my calculations over and over, leaving no room for error. 888 must have made a mistake. I need to warn them.
Này tự nguyện. Her tiny arms I held back. Tự nguyện hy sinh của hòn đảo. Sợ đấy. Blonde hair droops over 6 eyes. 37 looks back in confusion at the leader's unusual behavior.
37. Either be wise, uninvolved, and look on, or be practical, involved, and suffer. Which one will you end up choosing?
You mean all we need is a piece of hope?
The voice on the phone sounds unsure.
Yes. In recognition of your extraordinary contributions, Laplace is honored to present you with the fruits of our labor. This knot is the result of our research. The knot has been validated as a working ritual on both humans and arcanists. With the help of other arcanists, we found methods to avoid side effects and conducted small-scale experiments with success.
So are you saying we can...
However, since the experiment is still in its early stages, it involves a variety of materials and complicated rituals that are not yet possible for transmission. Nor can we deliver you any experimental equipment, as the storm is about to make landfall. The knot acts as an equivalent to the incantation, but it does not guarantee that we will meet the casting requirements or avoid the likely side effects.
This is devastating news for everyone in need of rescue in the midst of the disaster. The robot pauses briefly, searching its database for kinder phrasings.
I apologize, Miss Kakanya. Perhaps the result of our work will not really help your situation.
You said the knot works on both humans and arcanists, right?
Surprisingly, there's no despair in her voice.
Yes.
That is more than enough. This is the best news I've heard so far. There's a chance for everyone.
The robot did not understand her mumbling, but she found something in her database that might help.
I have 2 more pieces of good news. First, the curse is not inevitable. Our experiments showed a 0.49% likelihood of no side effects occurring at all.
Nghĩa trong 10.000 trường hợp thì 49 trường hợp là...
Second, the closer the storm gets, the more pneuma fills the air, leading to a greater success rate of the ritual.
Nhưng mà lại có
Yet,
bị dính
even with these factors combined,
syndrome.
The rate of success is still extremely low.
Storm syndrome.
It's all right. With millions of people trying, there's hope that at least one person will succeed against the odds. Thank you for sharing this with me, madam. I will do everything I can to spread this knot in Vienna to the Arcanists, humans, Magyars, and Germans. They are all my people, regardless of the social status, profession, or race. They all deserve the right to survive.
Lucy ends the call and turns around. There stands a Foundation employee, sent here to inquire about the experiments with a stern expression after overhearing the conversation.
Madame Lucy, I can only assume you acted impulsively and overlooked the proper application process. The knot is new and not ready for widespread testing. Distributing it in Vienna could lead to more casualties or even fall into the hands of our enemies. I must remind you that this is a clear violation of the regulations set by Pax Security Council, the St. Pavlov Foundation, and the Laplace...
Yes. How careless of me.
How careless of me. The robot nods.
But I did tell her I would share the results of the research, and this is what you call a promise. And the database says, a promise made is a promise kept.
Lucy con người hơn là chúng ta tưởng tượng. The storm is imminent. The final moment has arrived.
My brothers and sisters, put down your cups for a moment and lend ear to me. We were born extraordinary, yet estranged from the world around us. Throughout the ages, we wandered the world like a ship lost at sea. Despite the instability and chaos, we persevered. And together, we sought after the truth that would illuminate us all. Through introspection and contemplation, we cleansed ourselves of hatred, madness, and delusion, and embraced the value of beauty and harmony.
Yet now, our shattered faith mingles with the rubble of this phenomenal world, as specks in an unjust timeline. The dream of the transcendental world is broken, and the order of the transcendental law is no more.
Our sanctuary has crumbled, exposing us to live in a world filled with conflict and turmoil, where we will be trapped in the wheel of birth, doomed to repeat the mistakes of history for eternity.
But do not despair, for there is another way to the truth. It is a path fueled by unbridled passion, one that was stifled by moderation and restraint, a path that transcends the individual, breaks all boundaries and limitations, and leads us back to the essence in a fiery blaze of glory.
This path is the emanation which we stride into for the ultimate truth of our journey.
Mây màu. Có những con người lại thích hy sinh trước cơn bão này.
Doctor?
Doctor? The boy eases his face and sees Kakania rushing his way.
Finally, someone I know!
She cradles a thick stack of pamphlets in her arms, a little out of breath.
Illich, gather everyone you can and have them read out these steps in the plaza for all to hear. If possible, go to the telegraph office or use a printing machine to copy flyers. Distribute as many copies as you can. I'll go to Leopoldstadt and find the Gracchus brothers. They know where to find abandoned military hot air balloons.
What are you talking about, Doctor? People are too busy trying to escape. I want nothing to do with those crazies. This? A guide for tying knots? Don't you know the world is about to end? So many warnings. Who'd want to read this?
The people who want to survive will read it. I can't guarantee anything. It's a gamble for our lives. But people have a right to try before doomsday arrives. Illich, please trust me one more time. Please.
The boy recognized the plea in her voice.
Fine, Dr. Clara. If this works, your coffee for the rest of your life is on me.
Why? Clutching at her old hand, she lets out a heart-wrenching wail.
Why? Why are you still leaving? I found the truth. I completed the test. I deciphered the code of Aperon.
She struggles, trying to break free from the arm holding her back, her eyes fixed on the beach before her.
Why aren't you stopping them, Six?
A friendly figure's coming up to them.
Hello.
Martha.
Are you joining them, Miss Martha?
She smiles and shakes her head, turning her face toward the leader.
I find myself uncertain of which way to go. Would you kindly give me some guidance?
The guidance I can offer you is limited, Miss Martha. I think fate knows its own fate better than anyone.
Thank you for your advice. I think I understand.
She steps into the path of no return. Ồ, lại đã đúng. Cũng rời đi luôn. Rời đi mà nhạc vui vậy. Đây nhạc vui, nhạc buồn này. Sống sót là thấy người muốn đi mất. Là vậy. Ta đến trước mặt còn đã rời đi. Những người thành công sống sót trước cơn bão. Wow, kết thúc tuyệt phẩm. Ngứa hết da gà luôn. Đáng sợ.
My dear child, look at you. You're exhausted. I couldn't be of help then. But it's okay. The party is over now. At least let me brush your hair, darling. Or your hair will get all knotted. And it will hurt you when you try to untangle them.
Sao nào, tóc rối nhiều lắm rồi.
I'm not surprised. An old friend of ours, not. Often we learn our knots before we even know how to read and write.
Thế à?
A knot could be an obstacle that breaks the consistency of a flow.
Thắt cái gì vậy? Thắt nút cái gì vậy?
And also a reminder of forgotten things. You can use just about anything on hand to make a knot. Leaves of grass, the fur of an animal. Even
ngày xưa tôi bé tôi thắt nút cái gì vậy?
But the sturdiest knots are tied with rope. Knots are often found in many stories. Signify promises, counting and measuring, an instrument of salvation, and one of execution.
Làm được nhiều thứ thế mà vẫn còn hỏi là làm được cái gì nữa?
Oh, I could go on all day. The influence and power of knots can't be overstated. It is said that it was in the cutting of the Gordian knot that Alexander became the Great. Just touching the meters-long rope provides blessings to the faithful in Bellum. And tiny knots on strings can carry the history of an entire people. The ancient Inca called it quipu. The intricate variations of hundreds of fabrics, colors, and lengths of strings were used to record their stories through the ages. And to think, Shakespeare only had 26 letters to create his masterpieces. Just look around you. Don't sailors use knots to mark depths in men's sails? Or coachmen tying knots to rein their horses? And any respectable lady or gentleman knows the knots they must tie about their necks to stay in fashion. Or consider the knot-like helix structure of DNA and the changes in states of matter. Invisible to the naked eye, these knots carry some hint at a universal law. That there might be a string, like the quipu, an endless rope that records in its knots everything in the world, one that can't be seen, yet there it is, everywhere, all at once. Maybe you can tie this knot yourself. Use your hair, then form a loop, pass the end through it, and tighten it up. There you go. I hope you keep this knot as a record of the words we shared here.
Ok. Nghệ thuật của nút thắt. Vẫn còn tiếp theo. Đây là sau cơn bão đây. Chúng ta thấy hậu cơn bão. Hymnus at Bacchum. Đây là tên bài hát à. Ồ, 13 tháng 1. Đây là 15 tháng 8. 9 giờ 42 phút. Hai số, the two numbers, 6 và 37. Rồi chỉ còn 6 37 thôi. Tất cả hòn đảo đã không còn ai nữa. 37 và 6 mất hết mọi thứ. Thế nào, đây là lý do 37 có thể trở thành phản diện chăng? Chúng ta đang ở thời đại nào đây? Năm bao nhiêu đây?
I don't understand. I should be giving them my blessings. They're brave enough to return to the essence. But instead, sadness washes over me. I should feel happy for Sophia, now that she knows her soul number. Yet, I am filled with sorrow.
The beach is quiet, clean and perfect again. The storm has washed away everything that's happened. The war, the crowds, and the clinking cups, all gone. It's restored to the likeliness of the better time, with no remnants left behind. The last echoes of an era have faded into the distance.
Why did you all leave? Is it because I wasn't fast enough? Is it because I didn't do well enough?
Này là lý do vì sao mà niềm tin là khiến từ con người có thể tiếp tục sống. Con người họ mất hết niềm tin rồi nên họ cũng cuốn theo chiều gió luôn. Her petite frame sways in the breeze until finally she crumples to the sand. Về mất hết mọi thứ. Hòn đảo giờ chỉ là một thứ trống rỗng, không ý nghĩa gì nữa. Khóc nghe buồn thảm vậy. Sao dỗ đi, dỗ em tí đi. Rivulets of tears streaming down her cheeks, mixing with the mud on the ground. Her face, hair, and gilded robe are marked with the stains, but she shows no concern as she bores her eyes out, her grief tearing at the core of her being, like the first cries of the newborn entering the phenomenal world. Thus the leader knows the question is answered. Rather than looking on, she has chosen to be practical, involved, and suffer. And now, the moment of parting has come.
Go, 37. Leave the island to the world outside. Mesverton, you're clearing a path out of the mires of the phenomenal world. I sincerely hope you will steer it away from the horrors of war.
It's our duty to do so.
She nods approvingly. The importance of scroll needs no further proclamation.
Also, the person you were looking for, I am not familiar with a biographer named Erd.
Erd? Ồ, tôi nghe tên này ở đâu rồi nhỉ? Biographer named Erd?
However, in my recollections from the previous 6, there was a lady with a soul number just as unique as yours.
Are you saying?
Sadly, these vague scraps of information were all that I inherited. I hope they will be useful to you.
He turns around. Without another look at the empty beach, he starts walking back. Some believers trails after him without hesitation. Vẫn còn một số người vẫn còn niềm tin này. Seeing this, the girl dries off her tears and scrambles to her feet.
No! Wait! 6, where are you going? Everyone is gone! Sophia, 210, 888, and now you too?
I'm returning to the cave, 37. There are still people who refuse to be caught in the cycle of hatred or give in to unrestrained passion. The entrance to the sacred place may be destroyed, but the people's faith is yet to be extinguished. We will persist in studying the scrolls, copying the scriptures, and restoring our halls. We will worship the Ancient One in penance and work to rekindle the flame of our broken beliefs. The island is a manifestation of our choices, a haven removed from the phenomenal world, a place of order and harmony. And it is our determination that will sustain its tranquil existence.
I will go with you.
No, your choice has already been made, 37. You should not go back. The sorrows and doubts you have can only be alleviated by experiencing the outside world.
37's face turns completely pale. She shakes his head, looking toward the setting sun.
Thousands of years ago, the first faithful ones fled from the Roman Empire and journeyed to this island, where they founded the School of Epeiron. 500 years ago, refugees from Arabia found shelter here. They filled the cavern's shelves with copies of their writings and texts. Half a century ago, scholars who had their research exploited for warfare came and expanded our knowledge on modern mathematics. There were many 37s and 6s among them. Yet, are we any different from them in essence? Even if we are no longer here, the numbers 37 and 6 will still exist. Even if the island sank, these numbers would reappear elsewhere. The integer sequence is infinite, 37. Rather than clinging to a set of specific numbers, you should go and work out your own calculations and conclusions.
So now you're choosing to be wise and look on, but I don't understand. How could one be wise by being uninvolved and looking on from the sidelines?
Sig lets out a sound, almost a chuckle.
You overestimate wisdom, Ms. Verton. It can't do everything. Wisdom can free people from ignorance, but it can also lead them to a nihilistic void. Yet, someone will always seek this wisdom, even if nihilistic, to briefly rise above their worldly troubles and find some relief. And someone will have to stay here and provide a neutral haven for the drifters of the phenomenal world, and give the lost souls a harbor to return to.
Sau lấy tên là Acheron. He turns again, ignoring the calling behind him this time.
Wait! 6! Wait!
She wraps her face with the palms and pulls up her rope, running down the beach. She stumbles over the pebble and falls, but she pushes through the pain and rises to her feet, still running as fast as she can.
6!
Chạy thế mà không đợi. 6 có chạy đâu. Atticus, gọi tên luôn. The man stops. He had not expected to hear that name. Gọi tên ngày xưa luôn. Numbers are the essence of one's souls. The names are but echoes of the phenomenal world. He was born into his number, long before he was given the name Atticus. 37 never once called him by that name, for she had always valued the essence above all else. Now here she stands, head tangled with mud, knee bleeding, all battered and bruised. Yet her gaze remains resolute.
Will you leave a door open for me in your cave, like when we were kids? I know the transcendental law is in disorder, but that doesn't mean the truth is gone. I will carve a new path through the chaos, calculate better solutions than ever before, and delve into the phenomenal world to discover all it has to offer. By then, if I run into problems that I can't solve, can we talk about them together? Like we used to?
Ok. Cô luôn được chờ đón ở đây. 3 maxims were carved on the pillars of the temple of Apollo. Know thyself, nothing in excess, and give a pledge and trouble is at hand. What can you say? Alleviating doubt is a leader's duty.
Yes, a door will be left open for you, 37. Both you and your friends can come in.
It's a promise. 6.
Giờ chúng ta gọi tên 37 là gì? Vẫn gọi là 37 à? She brushes away her tears and waves to him. It's still a goodbye, which no longer as devastating. The last of the Iperon flowers had left, leaving only the timekeeper's team on the beach. Tàu rồi. Tàu của ai đây?
Zeno sent a ship to pick us up.
Okay.
Let's go, 37. The researchers of Laplace would love to meet you.
The girl's shoulders are trembling.
Are you nervous? Afraid of the unknown world?
Maybe a little.
Chúng ta có 37 đồng hành trên con đường
But I
sắp
will
tới.
get used to it.
Team của Timekeeper khá là nhiều. She lets out a breath, clearing the tangle of emotions from her mind. A familiar smile lights up on her face.
Because the nature of the universe flows in all things alike.
Ồ, đến chương 29 rồi. Chương 7 này dài phết này. Đây là... ai đây? What is important to remember the people? Của ai cầm ô vậy? Chúng ta đang ở đâu đây? Chúng ta ở trụ sở Foundation này, về trụ sở này.
We are prisoners within these cavern walls.
Chúng ta đã rời đảo rồi.
Our gaze is held captive by the shadow's thrall. Until our hands clasped and our chains rattled, we united to break free from our shackles. The sightless joined forces with the soundless, and the voiceless uplifted the helpless. Together, we assembled a sliver of truth, a piece of the world hidden since youth.
Select yourself audition. Mesmer.
Have you got something for me, Mesmer?
Mesmer Jr. looks worn and tired, but her demeanor is still somewhat friendly. Dark circles are clearly visible under Mesmer Jr.'s eyes, just like every Laplace member encountered today.
Yes, they asked me to give this to you.
Một cái ô.
The culmination of our research, the crystallization of man and all its wisdom, the protective gear against the storm. An umbrella, something you personally don't really need.
She takes a sarcastic jab as she opens and white satin umbrella.
It's called the Equilibrium umbrella.
Đây là khẩu nốt này.
This is the first model, consisting of a converter, a harmonizer, and a ritual core. The converter generates a balancing field that can cast rituals in the storm, taking account of the wielder's capabilities. The harmonizer's markings are inspired by the scroll of Apeiron. Madame Lucy tested it against 162 known side effects and found it to be highly effective. The original scroll has been returned to the island. This is only a simplified and duplicated rendition.
The 162 curses aren't all of them, right?
Correct. There may be other unknown side effects, so the umbrella is only a prototype in the testing phase. And the ritual core. At first it was called the 37 Lucy knot in honor of the two main contributors. However, both of them turned it down.
Yes, I still remember what 37 said at the time. She would rather name it after the mathematical properties of the knot, even if it's too much of a mouthful.
No. 37 is not a name, and the truth should not be dressed up with anyone's name. I only found it. I didn't invent it. I don't need something named after me to prove my sense of existence. But I'm not on the island anymore. I can understand that the imaginary numbers need to honor the discovery. You may use another contributor's name for it. I'm willing to accept that.
Madame Lucy showed no interest in the naming rights, so it was transferred to the third major contributor, Adler Hoffman. Sadly, researcher Adler also rejected the offer. At first, we nearly ended up using the date of that day as the name, but he changed his mind after confirming he could use his family name instead.
Hoffman knot à?
The Hoffman knot? You named it after Madame Hoffman? Yes. Researcher Adler Hoffman wanted to make sure that Greta Hoffman would never be forgotten for her selfless sacrifice. Level 4 Investigator Marcus, please accept this umbrella. It is rightfully yours.
She receives an equilibrium umbrella. Its Parisian crest, an illusion of poor whiteness in front of her.
Given the incredible contributions you have made, you're welcome to apply for a well-deserved and extended vacation.
No. I will request for permission to go out. My era has gone. But with this umbrella in hand, I will venture into the new world and marvel at what's to come.
Marcus cũng đã trưởng thành hơn sau các sự kiện vừa rồi. Marcus looks up at the sky.
Will the sucker tort taste the same?
With the umbrella in her arms, she bows to the Foundation staff members. Then she turns and walks toward the light.
And lastly, the asymmetrical nuclide R in the handle of the umbrella is supposed to protect against the storm syndrome, but this still needs to be confirmed through testing.
It's okay. This is the one thing we need the most.
If you have no further questions about its usage, I'm heading back to the rehab center. The afflicted researchers there are in dire need of my magnet therapy.
Don't you think 1 is not enough for my needs? I think 5. No, 15 might be more helpful.
Đội đông phết nhỉ? An unexpected question. Mesmer Jr. stops with a surprised look on her face.
My suitcase can't protect humans from the storm. They'll need the umbrella to survive. In the future missions, I may encounter lots of...
human. Mesmer Jr. interrupts.
Just a reminder, Timekeeper. This is only a prototype. The application forms for the umbrella are available in the Foundation lobby. Feel free to apply for as many as you need.
She turns and leaves, not staying for another second.
Thank you, Mesmer.
Thank you, Mesmer. The amount of sunlight is just right. The umbrella pops open, rotating with a touch of grace. Against the white fabric, the golden knot gleams with brilliance.
37 was right. It is a beautiful shape indeed.
Kết thúc. Chưa kết thúc. The Foundation Square has been restored to its former glory. A recognizable figure stands there, having waited for a long time.
Hey, Vertin! Did you get it done?
Lâu lắm không gặp. Dù chúng ta cùng một việc trên đảo.
Yes, it went smoothly.
Số TV đâu?
I was expecting something more complicated.
Số TV đâu?
So, to get the umbrella, you only need to fill out forms.
Huh? That's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the brave and glorious sacrifice of my Apple II. Don't you think the Foundation should compensate me with a shiny new ship?
Như không rồi.
Oh.
Oh? What do you mean, oh? Are you saying you totally forgot about it?
Regulus closes in, offended, putting her hands on both her shoulders.
Easy, Regulus. Those people are likely buried in paperwork right now. Just be patient and wait.
She twirls a golden medal between her fingers.
Lilia,
có thêm...
how was your commendation ceremony?
Trao huy chương à?
They rewarded me for escorting the important item during the storm. How is delivering a scroll worthy of a reward? I'll say someone should be grateful I didn't crash into the committee building.
May có Druvis đấy.
Take it. Might be useful for your
She
alchemy.
tosses the tomato to Regulus. Okay, không thèm hơn trên luôn. Bán hơn trên luôn. Regulus brings the tomato to her mouth and takes a small bite. Vàng thật à?
Thanks, mate. It's made of pure gold.
Ngon.
On behalf of the pirate community, I thank you for your remarkable contribution to alchemy.
I have one too.
Druvis tree walks over and places another tomato in Regulus' hand. Like Lilia, she was rewarded for helping the deliver of the scroll.
Please forgive my lack of contribution, timekeeper.
She missed the island trip because the forest they planted in the Foundation Square. Fortunately, the square has been restored to its original condition.
It seems the awakened woods have embraced tranquility once more. Perhaps a sign of good things to come.
I'm glad to see you back on your feet, Miss Truvis. In fact, there's a place I'd like to introduce you to. A flourishing island that survived both war and the storm. I think a talented druid like you would be of great help to them.
Sounds like a place to look forward to.
The reunion is cut short by the pirates cheering.
Nice job, Druvis. It's not as big as Lilia's, but it is made of a rare kind of metal.
This is a good start, Captain. This apple thinks we only need 300 more medals to afford a new ship.
You read my mind, Mr. Chief Mate. When will Zeno's ceremony be held? This captain is not a fan of these ceremonies. So, could they just mail me my medal?
The rocking pirate coughs awkwardly, her eyes darting away behind the cover of her chest. Sotheby!
Did I miss something?
He doesn't need the
Are we holding a medal exchanging party?
Sotheby!
Sotheby! Regulus rejoices at the sight of the little lady, tears welling up in her eyes. She stretches out a hand, and Sotheby immediately gets the message.
But I don't have a medal. All I have is this big round golden...
Nhà giàu đây. Đây là nhà giàu này. A handful of weighty jewelry is placed in Regulus' hands.
Captain,
Đúng là nhà giàu.
I think we can buy a new ship with this.
Đại gia khác. Regulus wraps her in a ginormous bear hug, moves to tears, praise Sotheby, the most charitable woman in history, the revitalizer of the pirate community, the proud sponsor for the ingenious alchemist, and the bank vault on left.
Regulus!
Ngân hàng có chân. Sonetto runs over panting, waving a stack of stamped paper in her hand.
The timekeeper asked me to request a new ship for you, and we have the approval.
Oh. Why?
The Foundation will rebuild Apple II and pay for its maintenance. Huh?
Funny you say that, Sonetto.
The trees sway in the breeze, and sunlight streams through the leaves. It's the fine weather to set sail again.
Now we have two new
Một cái
ships.
kết. Vãi. Một cái kết tốt cho Regulus này. Cho thuyền trưởng Regulus của băng hải tặc. Băng hải tặc gì? Băng hải tặc người gìn giữ thời gian. Này, Umbrella này. Abigail, Adler, Afra, Alice. Đấy cả. Nhiều người đấy. Đây mới là những chữ A. Ai comment đây? Có nhiều người comment đấy. And now a curtain call. Rèm đóng lại. Kết thúc một chương truyện. 21 tháng 8. Chuẩn bị chương truyện kết thúc. She brushed off the raindrops from her shoulders and stepped into the new world. The youth are sailing for a new world, while the old are saying goodbye to the world they knew. Office of Director, Laplace.
15 plugs. This should be enough to cover all socket types at our destination. Simone, pass me the experiment log, please.
She brushes dust off the desk and takes the final inventory of the lab's equipment. She leaves the lights off, not needing them any longer. An urgent knock sounds from the door.
Come.
Ai đây? Ủa, gì vậy? Before she finishes her protocol for human social customs, the door batches open.
Madam Lucy, is it true? Are you leaving Laplace?
Lucy,
yes.
Đi đâu đây?
The inquiry is over. This is the decision of all parties involved.
You have got to be kidding me!
Enigma pounds the table, sending the dust from the experiment into the air.
After all the incredible contributions you've made, they're suspending you? This is absolutely ridiculous! Without you, there would be no umbrella, and everyone would have died from the side effects!
But many did perish because of me. I had underestimated the danger of the ritual, and it ended up spreading uncontrollably. Did you not once have the same opinion, researcher Adler Hoffman?
The robot gives him a friendly nod.
It is surprising to see you change your mind so quickly, but that is just what Laplace needs. The spirit of rationality and self-evolution.
The documents have been filed away. Simone walks up to Lucy and takes the heavy experimental apparatus from her hands. As dust rises from their movements, Enigma lets out a cough.
I can imagine how they came to this decision. They must have considered the backgrounds of all the employees, including their social status and race. After 8 years, we finally created an umbrella to withstand the storm. However, our methods for achieving such progress and breakthroughs were too much for some to handle. People needed an outlet for their frustrations. So someone had to be held responsible for the accidents and casualties. Numerous complaints have been filed against me, accusing me of being a cold, heartless opponent of humanity. Within the Foundation, Zeno, and even here, some are starting to question the idea of having an awakened piston as a leader of Laplace. They argued about my arcane abilities, unsure if I had them under control or if they were becoming unstable and affecting my ability to make rational decisions.
Quản lý Laplace này, giám đốc Laplace này. The board realizes an overlooked detail.
I did give the nod to Miss Kikanya in violation of the confidentiality agreement, but ultimately, it helped people survive, and that is all that matters.
But Enigma does not speak up on this realization. He's already enraged, fist clenched into the board.
So they're questioning your standing because you're an awakened? An arcanist? They're doubting the rationality of a machine that values technology and progress above all else? Could anything be more absurd? Even I, a human, was on the verge of giving up. It was you who convinced me to save our species.
My question is, why are you so upset? This does not affect you. In fact, you may be promoted. Laplace is setting up a new department, and you and Ulrich should have been invited to head it.
Weil das verdammt ungerecht ist! Diese Leute kennen dich nicht. Sie haben nicht mit dir gearbeitet oder dir zugehört. Und doch ernten sie freudig die Früchte deiner Arbeit, während sie dir keinen Respekt erweisen. Der einzige Grund, warum du suspendiert wirst, ist, weil du, ein Erwachter, nicht wirklich sterben kannst. Oder sie würden dir jetzt eine Ehrenmedaille auf deinem Grabstein verleihen.
Maybe you should take up that offer. At least you will get a promotion as a just reward.
Enigma opened his mouth, but no sound comes out. He wants to tell her she's wrong about him wanting the promotion, but he's too flustered and angry to speak. The robotic eyes split purses, and she continues in her unemotional tone.
By the way, Ulrich ended up receiving a medal. But like you, he was not exactly thrilled either. He is outside the committee building, refusing to eat in protest. But everyone knows how resilient the awakened can be. It is going poorly.
Bản thân là awakened. She shakes and sighs, deeply remorseful for her subordinate's behavior.
I will suggest that one of you take this position. No one knows this research better than the two of you.
Not a chance!
The research must progress, and you also need to ensure that the results will not be abused.
A valid concern.
Scheiße.
Shite.
You're right.
Shite. Enigma is caught in a fierce battle between his principles and his duty. But the robot doesn't notice the unimportant details. She nonchalantly walks over the chair and runs the final battery check.
The punishment does not bother me, Researcher Hoffman. Power exists only in your dictionary, not mine. From the moment of my awakening, I have been unable to comprehend you creatures. And even now, that remains unchanged.
She stares with no emotion added into the embellish of her delivery. Enigma's mouth falls open in shock. Meanwhile, the robot just keeps on talking.
We operate in different ways, just like how our fuels differ. But the bright side is our paths align, whether we are creatures or machines, humans or arcanists. Most of us strive for a better life. It is this primal desire that drives progress. That is why I put on the mask of a human and work on improving my appearance and speech. All unfortunately, my efforts do not always pay off. Some say that the more human-like I appear, the more different I seem.
She shakes her head with regret.
But I am who I am, and my motivation is not to gain recognition from others. Our aligned path leads us to progress, and that is all there is to it. Thanks to the invention of the umbrella, Laplace can now resume its research unhindered. And if there is someone better qualified to lead, I am more than willing to remain a humble cog in their machine. Besides, Miss C introduced me to a beautiful resort. The lake there is rich with arcane power, perfect for an awakened arcanist like me. Not only is it a resort, but also an independent team with a good amount of freedom.
Yeah.
My only concern is if they have adequate power supply. Oh, rust might be a problem. Perhaps I should ask Researcher X about his titanium derust machine.
The robot is happily thinking about her vacation plans. She has completed all preparations for departure.
Time to go, Simone.
Time to go, Simone.
Madam Lucy, please take a look at this before you go.
A stack of reports is handed in front of her.
This is a report you compiled during the storm countdown, detailing 126 side effects and how the scroll alleviates them. I have some questions about the data for Type 34.
Lucy flips it open and dutifully goes through the list one last time.
Yes, I can see a few errors in here.
Sao? 34 là gì?
Unfortunately, I have to complete all of the handover procedures today. Perhaps you can ask Mr. Ulrich about it later.
She hands it back to Enigma, but he does not reach for it. He looks at her, grief-stricken.
The side effects left a mark on you, didn't they? There are 162 side effects, not 126. There was also an obvious typo in the data for type 34. We noticed it long ago and corrected it. Took only 5 seconds. You sacrificed so much for this report, yet you could not see such glaring mistakes. You called me Researcher Hoffman earlier, a name you haven't used since you took over Laplace 8 years ago. To avoid confusion with my sister, you and our colleagues started calling me Adler instead.
Moving closer, he asked grimly,
How much data did you lose to impair your research abilities like this? Is this why you have to leave Laplace now? The progress you've made has helped so many, but at what cost to your own well-being?
The robot does not answer. A rare occurrence. From her side, Simone gently takes the file for her.
We should go, Madame Lucy.
Goodbye, Researcher Adler. Thank you for correcting my mistake.
She walks away with stealthy steps, not looking back.
All right, fine.
He grips the door frame, ignoring the strange looks from
I'll
the
take
hallway.
up that role and do what you've been nagging me to do. I'll take care of those pesky committees. But just so you know, I'm not doing this for the higher-ups who look down on us, but for the people who look up to us from below.
The footsteps continue in rhythm. Her duty here is done. Kết quả đẹp. Kết quả viên mãn. Then another voice calls out.
Madame Lucy!
The corridors are bustling with people. Researchers, clerks, directors, and security. Every Laplace employee is in the corridors. From bottom to the top floor, the same voice shouts.
All attention!
All attention!
Salute!
Salute! Salute! Oh. Goodbye, Madame Lucy! Goodbye! Goodbye! Everyone says goodbye in their own language, tossing the files over the railings. Tạm biệt! Tạm biệt, Madame Lucy! The countless drafts, design and forms from the... Tất cả thứ này trước 24 giờ trước khi cơn bão. They were created for the storm and have completed their mission. Yes, I did the robot.
Simone, why are they throwing papers at me? Are they rejecting me and banishing me?
On the contrary, madam, they are showing their reverence.
Oh, I see.
The robot is without a face and emotion model today. He turns away from the crowd. The sunlight dances on her metallic surface, enveloping her in a golden aura.
Let us go, Simone.
Let's go, Simone.
I miss the Laplace chargers already. There is a 230-volt bath at the resort, right?
Xin vậy. Ủa, nhưng mà Simon là ai mà đi theo cùng cả Lucy này, từng trợ lý The End. Quá tuyệt vời luôn. Để một kết thúc Final replay. Một kết thúc quá là... Đây đánh ấy à. Đây là đánh boss à. Ok, nghe boss này tôi đánh sao. Hình như chúng ta còn một chương nữa là chương Choose a new word này. Chương này dài không nhỉ? Special. The long journey wears you down. It's only your force of wind that carries you this far. With the rocking pirate chuẩn bị đi xây tàu à? Hold some warm for the sun, taking a seat before raising her drink. You toast towards the horizon. The last can of Dr. Pepper rests beside her.
That's the stuff. Nothing beats a Dr. Pepper after saving the day.
Dr. Pepper.
Are you worrying about other things? We just took down Arcana and snagged the storm immunity. Why not kick back for a minute, mate? The best bit about this whole thing is I ended up with 2 ships in one day.
Apple 3, Apple 4 này.
Let's treat ourselves to fizzy drinks and get all puffed up today.
Rồi 2 con tàu bay màu. Take the last can. Why wouldn't you celebrate? There's no earthly reason to decline such a kind offer. To Vertin! It's a fine respite. As you said, there's nothing stopping you from enjoying the refreshing flavor bubbling soft drinks. I have to go thanks for Dr. Pepper.
Glad you enjoyed that. If you ever want more Dr. Pepper, I'm here for you.
Ok. Ồ, nói chuyện tận 14 người. Gia đình nói chuyện 37. Xin chào 37. A genius has decided to leave behind her orderly and familiar realm to dive into the chaotic currents of the new world. You stand on the beach, lost in her thoughts, and waves gently lapping at her feet. Hello, xin chào 37. The sudden touch surprised her. She quickly turns around and her expression's like a startled dolphin's.
What's wrong? I'm analyzing the ocean currents of the phenomenal world.
Nghe nói chuyện. Cô muốn làm gì sau khi rời khỏi đảo?
This question is unresolved. The outside world is too murky, too distant from the essence. My mind becomes clouded and dull, limiting the power of my arcane skills. But maybe I can take it on as a new project. Make this murky world clean again. I think it will be a lot of fun. Sophia will love it too. If she comes back.
Có chương sau ra đầu với Sophia chứ. Arcana không thể quay trở lại. Chả lẽ chết thật. Ủa, Arcana đâu? Thôi, cái này chắc tôi sẽ làm riêng thôi, nói chuyện 14 người. Thì nói chuyện chắc vui vui thôi, chắc không có cốt truyện gì mới nữa. Thế là chúng ta đã xong cốt truyện 30 chương về khai sam. Chúng ta chỉ có điều là chưa thấy kết thúc của Kakania. Nhưng mà Kakania đã cứu tất cả mọi người. Có thể, cô ấy có thể rồi. Và Kakania vẫn còn sống. Đây là sắp tới chúng ta lại có 37 gia nhập vào đội Timekeeper. Và sẽ đấu có khi Sophia sắp tới sẽ trở thành phản diện chính thay cho cả Arcana. Trong thời gian Arcana chưa biết ở đâu. Không biết có thể coi là mất tích không. Có khi Arcana không chết. Chúng ta đã có đây The Umbrella and the Knot. Một phát kiến, một phát minh mới là chiếc ô có cái chứa cái nút thắt để bảo toàn những cả bao gồm cả Arcanist và con người trước cơn bão. Và Madame Lucy rời khỏi tổ chức Laplace để gia nhập vào team Timekeeper. Chung là cái kết thúc này có đỉnh cao luôn. Cái kết thúc của hòn đảo và kết thúc ở Laplace này là kết thúc cả ở Viên nữa. Chúng ta có hai bên đối phương, hai bên tương phản nhau. Một bên kiểu muốn sống trước cơn bão, một bên đã mất đi niềm tin và bỏ mặc mọi thứ và tự nguyện ra đứng trước hứng bão để bị đảo ngược. Nhưng mà cái đoạn cuối này có đỉnh cao rồi, không còn gì để nói rồi. Hôm nay tôi dừng lại đây thôi. Cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi. Hôm sau là 3 tuần nữa là update mới, là hình như là quay lại không còn vào tuyến cốt truyện chính nữa mà sẽ vào tuyến cốt truyện nhân vật phiên bản. Giờ tôi sẽ quay trở lại và test xem cốt truyện đấy có hay không. À mà có khi sắp tới tôi cũng roll Kakania nữa. Tôi tận 223 roll. Giờ nhiều roll quá, chắc roll thêm mấy nhân vật mới cho bớt đi. Ok, cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi. Giờ tôi biến đây. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.